It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies, current releases, coming attractions, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hello, Jim.
Hey.
And the man that LL Cool J once called the Mac Daddy of Mayhem in a dream I once had. It's Murray.
What is up?
Hello, Murray. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, this week on the podcast, we talk about 4 movies we saw in theaters, including our Undoubted Christopher Nolan's Big Thing, what's coming out next week in cinemas, if anything, but I have a feeling there is, some streaming, Open Rage, Murman Minute, the list, Rage or Dare. Then we sign off and rewatch Tenet 20 more times in theaters and pray it never ends until next week. So, before we talk about what we're doing, we just got to do another public service announcement for All the Horror podcast event in October. So please stay tuned to that. Please check out scaresthatcare.org, which is the charity that will be supported by this fantastic organization. You can check out allthehorror18.wixsite.com/event or on Instagram and Twitter at allthehorror18. Film Rage will be part of this, as will be a lot of other amazing podcasters. So check it out and get ready for October, which is going to be scary. Okay, well, what did we see in theaters last week?
I don't remember.
I remember.
Everything.
It all just blended together.
Big, massive movie.
I think
4
really-
solid movies.
There was time travels in at least one of them.
in every one of them.
That's right, every one
Maybe.
of them.
Oh, most of them.
Actually, all of them.
In a way.
It was a time travel weekend.
It was indeed. All right, so first we're going to cover the one that the whole world's been waiting for.
Yes.
Tenet, 2020. Mr. Christopher Nolan wrote and directed this one. Tenet is a movie that only Christopher Nolan could write and direct. It is a story that is literally simultaneously moving forwards and backwards at the same time. It folds over top of itself many times, as you definitely need to be patient, as there's nothing here that would resemble traditional storytelling. There's nothing linear here at all. It is a high-concept film that bent both time and my mind. There are some scenes early on in the film that don't make a ton of sense, but eventually make more sense as the film overlaps itself in the final act.
And you watch them over and over again.
The images I was bombarded with, combined with the constant intense thought that it took to try and understand what I was watching, was exhausting to say the least. The actors involved here are all at their best, with standout performances from John David Washington, who proved with this venture that he can carry a movie as the lead with ease. And Robert Pattinson proves once again that he's among the elite actors working today. He conveyed a casual confidence in this film that was an absolute delight to witness. So here's the deal. This was a super impressive film visually. It had tremendous performances. It was definitely thought-provoking. And although it was a hard film to follow, I feel that I can't talk today. Exactly. I feel that was the intent.
Nolan does to your mind.
That's what he does. If you are looking to be spoon-fed a plot or are uncomfortable being unsure of what is going on in a film, then you should probably avoid this. However, I do not fit that description, and I'm willing to go on a ride with no guarantees of a definitive resolution. I enjoy the fact that I watched this film 4 days ago and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still trying to put the puzzle of Tenet together. This was a movie that I may never fully understand, and I'm okay with that. The one thing that I'm 100% sure, however, is that Tenet was Mondo.
That's the only 100% thing you're sure of?
In the whole world, in the history of my being, I'm only 100%
Guaranteeing positive?
Positive about one thing. Tenet was Mondo.
Wouldn't that also 100% mean that Christopher Nolan is 100% Undoubted.
That's what it would mean, especially if you agree, Jim.
Oh, well, Murray has to also at least not give it a rage.
I decide to rage.
That's
You
right.
never
He
know.
rages about Christopher Nolan. All right, well, here's my take on Tenet. Christopher Nolan is a god among men.
Yes.
If you thought Inception, Terminator, or Bill and Ted were complex time traveling experiences, you ain't seen nothing yet.
No, you haven't.
This has explosive time-bending mindfuckery to the maximum. It takes you forward and backwards in time so many times, you would think you just spent 2 solid hours on the swings at the old drive-in going back and forth until you puke your Diet Pepsi out your nose,
Nice.
landing on the kernels that you had left behind. This latest offering from Chris, as I want to now start to call him, just Chris,
Yeah,
is beyond...
You guys are buddies.
He's my buddy in my mind. Is beyond measure to anything ever created and will go down as one of the movies people will have to see over and over and over to make sure they got everything it had to offer. Only fault, and not even sure it was the movie's fault as we were watching this, or if it was the cinema itself, but the sound mix I found terrible where we saw it. I'm not sure if you felt the same way. I didn't find
the
them.
same in my theater.
Was it?
You couldn't hear what the hell they were saying half the time.
The voices.
Sometimes the music drowned out some
Yeah,
stuff.
so I did not like the sound mix. That was the only thing that really kind of got to me. So I kind of want to see maybe in a different theater which is fine by me.
the same in
Seeing in
every
a
one of
theater
them.
where it maybe has like a better surround or something like that to see. I'm not sure if anyone saw an AVX or
No, I didn't.
whatever.
But yeah, if you want to pay $20, go ahead and see an AVX. But I don't know if it'd be
I
any
might
better.
just
I
do
just
that.
might do that too.
Yeah, I might do that too. Maybe we'll do it this weekend.
Well
as
worth
well.
it.
It was. John David Washington, I just want to sort of somewhat agree with you, is a star. And I can't really wait to
Absolutely.
see what he does next.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember what the last film was. It Black Klansman? Was he in Black Klansman?
He was in Black Klansman.
But he was a smaller part.
It was small. He was still one of the principals for sure. But yeah, he was very good. He's very good in everything he does.
Yeah,
but-
it's one of those things. I'm sure Murray's looking it up, but what else he's done. But this gets an undoubted Christopher Nolan for life. One word to sum up was motherfucking intense.
Yes, it was.
And the motherfucking is silent, but intense is not.
Yes, it was MFing intense.
Intense. It was like from moment one, I felt like I was at a Hitman show where the music starts and it's just like, and it just was like, as you're going forward, it's like, I don't know where to stop the intensity. It just keeps going and going and going. And I loved every single second of it. Mur, what'd you think?
Well, it may come as a bit of a surprise, but I did not enjoy it as much as you two did.
What?
I know. And I have to disagree with you on 2 points.
Uh-oh.
First one is, for 2/3 of the movie, it actually was a very linear movie. I was enjoying a lot because it was a spy thriller. Kenneth Branagh, although he recycled the same character from Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, it was the exact same character, just he was more sinister this time because he actually physically abuses his wife, which he didn't do in the other one. But he is always awesome. He should be Undoubted if he's not already. And the other thing
He made the Orient Express movie. So
Yeah,
no,
he did.
Yeah, well,
that can't.
That was a rage.
That was a solid rage.
I didn't mind that, but you're digressing. But
We're just waiting for your second point.
I can't remember what the second point was. I was disagreeing with you
So
on what I
time
was
travel,
saying.
you didn't think it was as back and forth?
Yeah, no, 2/3 of the movie when they were just a spy thriller, I was totally into it.
Yeah.
And the last 45 minutes, it lost me. I could care less.
You could care less, or it was just getting more complex?
It made no sense. It was stupid. It made no sense. However, I will say I will put the end to the you're guessing, I will not give it a rage.
There we go.
Oh,
Because
Thank God.
Christopher Nolan is
Thank God.
He's still one of the most amazing film directors ever. And his visuals, the fact he crashed a plane. He crashed an actual plane.
Yep.
There's no CGI. He crashed a plane into a building.
Yes, he did.
And he's also a director who refuses to do 3D, which I highly respect him for as well.
I do too.
But yeah,
Yes.
2/3 of the movie I enjoyed very much. I thought most of the cast was okay. Kenneth Branagh was my favorite, and Robert Pattinson, he was
awesome.
He was motherfucking great.
But yeah, I'm simply giving it a meh. And yeah, it just...
Well,
Fair enough.
fair enough. Christopher Nolan, or Chris, is still undoubted.
Christopher to me, Chris to Jim.
me. All right, well, let's talk about some mutants.
The New Mutants?
How about New Mutants?
All right.
High School Mutant Cal is what I want to call this, minus the music.
High School Mutant.
Mutant Cal.
Musical.
Mutant cow.
Like High School Musical, but
Mutant
it's
Cal.
High School Mutant Cal.
Is there a cow in it?
He's being
Cal.
He's being
Oh,
funny.
Music
Cows.
Cal.
Oh.
Mutant Cal.
High School Musical.
High
He's-
School Mutant Cal.
He's being punny.
Minus the music.
I didn't understand.
This was everything I thought it would be. Cool teenage mutants being stereotyped. Everything was predictable and no surprises. Some cool dream creatures, and love some of the kids. Maisie, Anna Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton, all upcoming stars. Were all great in their roles. Dialogue was not great and not enough pizzazz for the story. But I'm a little bit of a sucker for mutant films with superpowers. Ideally, I should have probably raged, but because I love these meddling kids, and if it wasn't for them, I might have got away with it. But it isn't a rage. It's just a meh for me. Keeping in mind, I just want to put as a preface that of all superhero films, as much as I love DC over Marvel for the most part, my favorite is always mutants. I just have a weakness for mutants. Maybe it's because I feel I'm a mutant, so my superpowers are not always evident.
Let's see.
All right, what'd you think?
Was that a giant wolf they were battling at the end?
Yeah.
Bear.
Oh, okay. It was a bear? Okay, I didn't
Bear
even,
It
wolf.
was her spirit bear.
It was her spirit
right.
bear. Okay. It looked silly.
because she's Native American.
It was CGI.
And what was with the lesbian side story? That
I love that.
That seemed shoehorned into the script.
Maybe.
The effects were overall not terrific, although I did like the smiley men.
They were great.
They were great, yeah. This was a movie that was about these young mutants discovering their powers, and I was actually amazed that they all had the same power. They all have the power to bore me. I really did not like this movie. Rage.
Well, some of their powers were stronger than others, though. So there were different levels of mutant powers.
The strongest power was their
Some
power
annoyed
to
him
bore
more
me.
than others.
Okay, Mur, what'd you think? Because you saw this one too, right?
I did.
And you're a big MCU guy?
I am a big superhero guy.
Yeah.
I grew up with DC more than MCU, and yeah, the X-Men have kind of lost their luster over the years. And this, I don't know, I feel like it was trying to be Logan, but there was too much teen angst, and just not, because it was. In case you forgot, that movie had a bunch of young mutants.
Well, it kind of had
well.
Yeah, but
one, and it was mostly Logan.
But they were kids. But no, but it was, yeah, it was about, his name was on
There
it,
were
but
kids at the end
it
of
was him passing the torch to the young kids who were all mutants.
Yeah, but no one
No
was,
one was passing
passing the
any
torch
torches.
this year.
Anyway, that's what I said. It tried to, but it wasn't.
Gotcha. Okay, so what'd you think? Did you love it? Hate it?
I wouldn't give it a mondo. I mean, it was okay for a superhero movie. Like I said, it was too much teenage angst and not enough mutant-y good stuff.
You thought they should be... Okay, but should they have been more making out, you think, if they're going to go that way?
No.
I don't
It
know.
was just a
They should have had
stupid
every...
side story that didn't even go anywhere.
Well, the one guy had kind of made out with the girl in his mind.
I
the
felt
pool.
sorry for the
Remember
one
that?
guy who didn't have one to make out with.
Yeah, what was wrong? Maybe he was kind of hot. He was like Van Halen. He was hot for teacher.
Sure.
He got it bad. Got it bad. He's half a teacher.
No, it's just a meh for me. It was
two
okay.
mehs and a rage. Mutants.
Rage.
I don't know if the mutants are going to make it to a second movie.
Well,
Hope not.
If you want a little backstory,
Secret?
This was basically they burned it off because this is the last one that Fox had the rights to.
Oh.
So now that
I think it's been sitting on the shelf for about 2 years.
3 years, yeah. So now that Disney owns the rights to the X-Men, they'll be more kid friendly, and they're probably going to recast everybody.
It's going to be worse. At least we had some good old-fashioned lesbian love.
Had some
I hope they sing in the new ones too.
I'm sure they will.
It'll be excellent. So they can make a theme park ride out of it.
Oh, they will.
It'll be
mutant cow. It will be the actual high school mutant cow.
Yeah, that still doesn't work for me. I don't understand.
Well, like you just predicted it. It's going to happen now.
Well, there you go. So what else did we
High
see?
school
Well, I'll
mutant
tell you.
I can almost see the theme music right now.
Okay, so let's move on from the New Mutants because it's really not worth talking about as much as we did.
Well, you did rage over it. Usually you like to talk about raging.
I do, but honestly, whatever. We're still talking about it for some reason. So we're moving on now. We also saw You Cannot Kill David Arquette. I saw it at least. I'm not sure if
I did see it.
You did see it as well?
I didn't see it in the drive-in, though.
All right. So after watching the trailer, after watching the trailer for this one, I can honestly say that I was looking forward to it. In a nutshell, this was about David Arquette deciding to return to professional wrestling after an embarrassing and career-damaging stint in World Championship Wrestling in the year 2000. His involvement in pro wrestling managed to simultaneously piss off wrestling fans and stall his acting career. Fast forward 18 years later, and he decides he is going to become a pro wrestler again. But this time, he's going to take it seriously. The doc shows his journey as he tries to gain the respect of fans and wrestlers alike. Now, as you watch this, there are many excerpts that are obviously staged to a certain degree, and in some cases, I would suggest that they were actually scripted. Now, if this was a regular documentary, I would be pretty pissed about that. But this was a doc about wrestling, and because of that, I was okay with the obviously predetermined scenes, just like I would be okay with the predetermined outcome of a wrestling match. It was almost fitting that some of this was scripted. Having said that, almost everything in this worked. The attempts at humor were funny, the heartwarming stuff was heartwarming, and the one thing that was definitely not scripted was the fact that David Arquette worked his ass off to get to the point where he actually did gain the respect of not only the wrestlers, but also the wrestling fans, which is a tough sell.
And he gained himself a six-pack.
He did that too. Along the way, we got some shocking footage of after effects of matches, which included some fairly amusing visits with doctors. It also included the aftermath of a death match that he had, where he legit could have died as he took a broken piece of glass to the neck and was hemorrhaging blood at an alarming rate. He actually got back into the ring and took the pinfall before bolting out of the ring to get to the ER, before he bled to death. That was not staged. This was a tale of redemption, and it was hard not to root for David as you saw how seriously he started to take this journey. Plain and simple, I had a very good time watching this and gained a ton of respect for David Arquette. As you could see, he was genuinely trying to right a wrong from the past. Not only did he succeed, but he managed to make a film that was mondo.
Murray, did you see this?
No.
So...
No interest in it.
So you cannot kill David Arquette, and they did try.
They did.
So I love David Arquette, but I am not a fan of wrestling. The fact he called it a sport is, to me, a joke in itself. Are there people who are fit that do this? Absolutely, yes. But if the script is planned out and written, it is not a sport. Stick to killing spiders and playing Dewey. Glad you stopped drinking and got healthy. For that, you get a meh.
Wow. Well, that was short and concise.
It was short and concise. There was parts of this movie I did like. You know what? I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't love it. And maybe if I was a fan of wrestling, there was just too much wrestling.
No, that wouldn't have helped.
There was too much
You
wrestling.
didn't even see it.
He knows. He could tell by the commercial.
Did you see his other movie?
What other movie?
The one he actually made about being a wrestler?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ready to Rumble?
Yeah, I saw it.
Uh,
And? Was it good?
No, it was freaking horrible, but I don't know
Oh, that's
I don't
why.
know I don't know why you're comparing the two. They have
Nothing to do with
nothing
each other?
to do with each other.
did-
That was 20 years ago, man.
So, here's the thing. I was kind of rooting for David Arquette. I'm a big fan of his, actually. I do like him as an actor. I found through the journey that he was taking, I didn't like him anymore because he was
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't think it shone him in a
to
great
go
light.
from where he was to where he got to in the end.
Yeah, but
Whether you're a wrestling fan or not, you could see where he was
oh yes,
to
no,
where he got.
yeah.
And that was an exciting journey.
It
That
was, but you got to remember he's got 2 little kids.
yeah.
And he almost died like 5 times doing that. Like the thing that gets me is when people have this ego. Like it's kind of like he asks his wife. There's a point in the movie where she goes, "Yeah, you didn't even ask my opinion. You just did it." Mm-hmm. But that's not. I mean, so to me, as a father and a spouse, is like, yeah, I get it. We wouldn't have seen the movie if that didn't all happen. And am I glad he got healthy? Yes, but as I'm watching the movie, I'm going like, the guy is not a great dad and he's not a great husband. And to me, it was kind of like, you just basically needed to prove something to yourself, put your life at risk, and at the same time...
No, but here's the thing. He was going through bouts of depression and all that, and I think this all helped with it, and I think in the end, it'll make him a better dad and a better husband.
I don't know if it will.
I think it absolutely will, because he actually achieved this goal that he had, and he hasn't achieved a whole lot of goals lately. So I think that your argument there is bubkus.
I don't know. He could have died. He almost died.
I don't know.
He almost died.
He did almost die, but in the end, he was
didn't?
stronger for it.
Oh, I get it, because
You
he didn't.
can't kill David Arquette.
Apparently, that's the truth of this story. Mm-hmm. It was a mess.
It was.
I didn't love it. Maybe if I was at the drive-in, I might have liked it better.
It was a really good time
At the drive-in.
I think no matter where you were, but
No, because I was at home and I didn't have the same entertainment value.
yeah, but you're kind of a schmo.
Sometimes, yeah. I agree with it 100%.
Anyways, let's move on.
Amondo. Okay, well, the moment I think all of us were waiting for years finally came.
Sure did.
Because Bill and Ted finally faced the music.
For about half the movie.
Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other and party on.
It's good advice.
This started at an 11 and only went up from there.
Whatever.
Nostalgia can take you so far, and then you gotta let Wild Stallions 2020 reunion do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Was this stupid? Yes.
Yes.
But were the original Bill and Ted stupid?
Yes.
Yes. So I wasn't expecting anything that wasn't going to be stupid.
Of course not.
This is a feel-good movie that COVID needed. And who better to save the world for another time but John Wick, a.k.a. Ted Theodore Logan, and his totally awesome lifemate, Bill. These two both continue to bring the comedy gold. Dave Grohl, most of the original cast, music by Weezer to take us out. What more could you ask for? This was a fun romp through space and time, through hell and back. But I couldn't give it a Mondo.
No.
This gets a Dennis the Dancing Robot and space nostalgia high meh for me.
And that's fair.
Mondo, didn't it?
I kind of did. I'm like, you just can't. As much as
I
you
couldn't.
love Bill and Ted,
I do.
and we all do.
I
you
like Death
can't.
the best.
You
Let's
just
face
can't
it.
get-
Death
Oh,
is
wow.
by far
Death
the
is
best.
awesome.
He's always my favorite.
Yeah.
And I loved
I
Bill
wish I
and...
could get his album where
I know,
Bill
right?
rules.
That bass album sounds awesome.
It does.
And I did like the prison scene. But who doesn't like prison scenes?
I don't really like prison scenes.
I love prison scenes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I say let's start with the good. They stayed true to the Bill and Ted characters, and there were more than a few laughs. Nostalgia takes over with these characters, and you find yourself enjoying the movie, even though you know that what you're watching is not very good. The bad. What it comes down to,
Everything else.
pretty much. What it comes down to is if you are going to have a Bill and Ted movie, then there should be more Bill and Ted. Keanu and Alex were very funny, but the overall concept of this just didn't work. There were too many scenes that did not involve our two leads, which sort of stalled the film. The side story with Bill and Ted's daughters was not terrific. The climax of the film was super predictable, which can be forgiven if it's well executed, but it wasn't. It was just a major letdown, one of the more anticlimactic endings I have seen in a while. Still, I love seeing my old friends Bill and Ted. I just wish they could have been in a better movie. If I did not love these characters so much, this would have been a rage. But let's be serious. How could I possibly give Bill and Ted a rage? Bill and Ted Face the Music was meh.
Especially the fact, even though that our Bill and Ted, as they traveled through time and space, got to meet a bunch of dick Bill and Ted through the whole movie.
They did.
Merman, what'd you think?
Well, I'm definitely somewhere in the middle there. Again, the first two Bill and Teds, they were just okay for me. I wasn't as excited as you would have been to see this. I do like Keanu. Alex he's aged a little bit.
Yeah.
Since, Keanu still has his awesome complexion, but Alex is definitely showing his age. I had some issues with some of the casting, with the exception of the two of them and Death. That George Carlin's daughter.
I love her, though.
I don't like her.
She's awesome.
I hate her and everything.
Oh, wow. I love her.
Absolutely hate her and
Whatever.
everything. She is just annoying to me. Everything.
She's the voice of Louise on Bob's Burgers.
I know.
Don't watch it. Don't care.
You should watch it.
I
and you
believe she was
should
also
care.
on that Last Man on Earth stupid
Yeah,
show.
that show
she
was
was,
awesome, too.
Which was also stupid.
Flight of the Conchords.
She's horrible.
She is
She's horrible,
not-
and she put
she
me
is-
off the whole movie.
She's Mondo.
She's super Mondo.
And the wife of George Carlin is basically probably one of the actresses that I despise the most in the history of acting.
Oh, yeah. What else has she been in?
She was on 2.5 Men. She played their mother.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
She's not very likable in anything she's ever done.
I don't know what is a 2.5 Man.
It's a movie stuff.
Anyway, it's a TV thing.
Oh.
But and them jumping, like I had no problem with them having their daughters do it instead of them.
Yep.
It's just they're jumped around too much, and some of the people that they picked out of history, it's like, okay, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't explain who the hell it was.
Like the drummer?
the drummer from like BC
4600 BC?
That's
Yeah.
the whole story with the kids was not good.
It started off good. Like
they
first they had Jimi Hendrix. Like, yes, absolutely, you're gonna have a band. You gotta have one of the best guitarists ever.
Yeah, man.
Then you went back and you got Louis Armstrong. Yes, absolutely. And even was it Mozart?
Mozart, baby.
Yeah, they should have just stopped there because after that it's like, who the hell are you?
going all through time.
No, and the Chinese person, I don't know what the hell that was.
They're a
That was
flautist.
awesome.
No idea who that was. No idea who that was.
That's the point.
At least the first movie, I recognized all the historical figures.
Yeah.
This one, I had no idea who any of them were.
So
other than the first couple.
the two that they pulled in, you didn't know. Really
and I didn't feel they were necessary. Like, to do this all.
Then it only would have been
encompassing
3 people.
Universal song.
But you might have been happier by that too, because apparently you didn't like that part of the story either.
No, I didn't like that part of the story because it was
there
poorly
are a lot better
executed,
drummers than that girl from the BC times too. There's been great drummers in the history of music. Could have pulled any of them out.
John Bonham.
but- yeah.
Buddy Rich, anybody. But anyway, the story of course was stupid, but I mean I expected it to be stupid.
Yes.
I had some laughs, but just way too many Bill and Teds.
Did you
Too
rage?
much jumping.
Or was it a meh?
I would never rage against Bill and Ted.
That a boy. That's what we wanted
It
to
was
hear.
definitely a meh, but yeah,
3 mehs, people.
it was too much Bill and Ted.
It's a
meeting
mefecta.
themselves.
That's a mefecta. Bill and Med. Meh.
Yeah, it was okay.
Meh times 3.
All right.
All right, well, what are we seeing next weekend? There's only 2 options that we haven't seen.
Finally got through that. Wow.
Well, you've got them in front of you, so tell me what they are, Jim.
We're seeing
Oh yeah,
the personal history of David Copperfield.
Right.
So I don't really know a lot about this.
I was disappointed to find out it was not The Magician.
Yeah, it's not.
If it was a movie about his life, I would totally go see it.
I would run for the hills if it was a movie about his life. Why on earth would I want to see that?
This is a Charles Dickens.
Yeah, it's a modern take on the Charles Dickens classic tale of a young orphan who is able to triumph over many obstacles. And it's got Dev Patel, who we need him to keep making Mondos, so let's hope this one does.
I'm looking forward to it.
And Hugh Laurie and our favorite girl, Tilda Swinton's in it.
Tilda Swinton, Hugh Laurie.
Yep.
That all sounds solid.
I know.
All right.
Okay, that's one.
And
the other one is Alive.
Alive.
Which looks terrible, but it could be bad terrible.
It could be. Or it could just be awesome.
I don't know.
Or it could be awful. It's going to be something.
It's going to be either awful or awesome. I don't think there's going to be anywhere in between.
No. We're either raging or we're mondoing
We're
this
mondoing
one.
this one. Because the commercial looks kind of weird.
Eh,
I don't know.
it looks all right.
We're looking forward to both of them, though. Let's
Yeah.
face it. There's a lot at stake here. Dev Patel needs another Mondo. And we haven't raged at the theaters for, seems like a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. True.
Like a really good rage. So I'm going to be happy either way.
There you go.
Okay, well, let's dance. Streaming. Motherfucking streaming. We've been just streaming. And Bryce, we did what?
Streaming.
Murray, what did you do on the weekend? Did you do some streaming?
Oh, it's streaming.
All right. So, last week we, even though we went to the theater many times,
4 times.
we managed to stream a couple of movies too.
We did.
First off, we've got 1BR,
Bowel movement?
which I believe is 1 bedroom.
I think you're right.
I think I just might be. We streamed this on Netflix. It is officially from 2019, although we're just seeing it for the first time. A young lady moves into an apartment complex and soon learns that things may not be what they seem.
What?
The first 25 minutes or so were pretty bland. But then after that, things definitely pick up. Some rather unpleasant things start to happen around that point. It definitely has a "this could really happen" tone about it. That makes this film rather tense. The performances were all solid. The creepiness of the characters added to the overall anxiety throughout. I was not a huge fan of the ending. Do not want to give too many spoilers away, although as you watch, a lot of it was fairly predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, didn't mind this movie. It was meh.
Okay. So, here's my take on 1BR
Yes.
or bedroom.
1 burr.
Burr. Low budget little kidnapped ditty was okay.
Yep.
I liked a few things about it, like Baked Kitty Alaska and the Jesus nailed into the wall process of adherence. But there were some holes in the plot that I was having troubles getting around. Understanding what exactly her purpose was pretty easy, but not sure I understood why it was all happening to begin with. No real purpose for the cult to exist other than this is a better way of life. Also, why after she rips her hands away in defiance did they say she was ready? It seemed more like that would be a bad thing for her to want to be. Like, I would have thought they would have needed her to be completely broken at that point. But
Yeah.
she pulled her hands away and like, okay, you're okay now.
And that's the whole thing. She wasn't completely broken
No.
and still had some defiance
I
in
know,
her,
that's
so.
I wouldn't have thought they would have wanted her that way.
Yeah.
Also, what was everybody's jobs? Like, nobody worked in this. How were they supporting to eat?
They showed one guy leave the building.
Oh, one guy
and
had
they
a
said,
job.
"Look." She was so shocked to see him leave the building. They're like, yeah, of course he can leave the building. You know, he's got a job.
He's the only one with a job.
I don't know.
They all seem to be there all the time, except for that one guy. How did they support the group with food and bondage equipment? Like it or maybe like the concept a little. But the final execution was not fully realized. Good low-budget attempt for a first effort by David Marmer, the director. It was his first feature film.
That's cool.
So gets hoping for better, but good enough on their first feature. Low meh for me.
Yeah, I think we agree.
Yeah. So we also saw The Shed
on Shudder.
And just so everybody's who's keeping track realizes, Shudder went on a string of awesome.
They did.
And then they went on a string of shit.
They have.
And so I'm just telling everybody that before we talk about The Shed.
And did the tide change, Jim?
Well, you're going to have to wait and find out. You're going to have to wait and find out.
I know what I think.
The trailer on this was awesome.
It was. It made me want to watch it. I was like,
I know.
Dude, we're totally watching The Shed.
And that's all I really want to say. No, okay. So the dialogue and acting from start of film was ugh. Super predictable teenage angst drivel. I was upset to start, but anxiously awaiting the bloodshed about to appear from the darkness. I was patiently waiting.
There was some
and
bloodshed.
waiting.
It was all right.
And waiting.
There was some gore.
Come on, bloodshed. Come on, bloodshed.
A little bit.
Come on, bloodshed.
Gore was good.
I love a good damaged kid whose parents dies and gets bullied revenge vampire story.
Who doesn't?
In fact, it's one of my third or fourth favorite subgenres of revenge vampire films. Sibhan Fallen Hogan, who plays the sheriff, is one of my favorite character actors of all times.
Really?
I was so excited to see her in this movie. The music was... that is what I want to say. It was like one guy who wrote all the songs, and they were all just kind of... that.
It was all right.
That was that. Okay, so before I go and finish this...
Yes.
Sibhan Fallen Hogan, if you don't... For those of you who are don't know who she is, she was in the original Men in Black.
Yep.
And her big line in that movie, which I still repeat to this day, sugar water. I wanted sugar water.
Right.
Because her husband was the fly guy that was Johnny Knoxville.
Right.
Sugar water.
Sugar water.
That's literally the best thing she's ever said. I love her so much. You remember Sugar Water?
Yeah, you're mixing your movies up, though.
No, that was her. Men in Black.
Yeah, but Johnny Knoxville was in the second one.
Oh, he looked... Yeah, that's right.
Vincent D'Onofrio was
Yeah, they kind of look like Johnny Knoxville.
So what, she did the voice of him?
No, she was the wife of...
Oh, okay, the wife, okay.
Sugar water.
Because he just wanted sugar water. Sugar water.
Okay.
Her voice alone just makes me laugh.
Yeah,
I loved her. I love when she was going off. Anyway, sorry, everything was pretty subpar, but damn, I got a weakness for revenge in all its many forms. Just not that much weakness. I so wanted it to be better. Like the idea of this, but it was just so much bad for the amount of good it provided. Did like the crazed revenge of Dahmer, and he knew how to get business done, son. But otherwise was an unsatisfied blood orgy that never happened rage. Best line.
Oh,
Beg
rage.
better, bitch.
Wow. Rage.
It was.
Wow. Rage.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Is this a Mondo for you?
No, it's not a Mondo. Not a rage, though.
It was a pretty big rage for me.
Yeah, but I just don't understand why the vampire in the shed would be trapped in there.
I don't either.
At one point, he breaks through the door and grabs our protagonist. So, why can't he just break through the door and leave?
Or the wall or whatever?
Because he was there for a couple nights. I don't even...
Without the door being locked, he was there.
Well, no, it was locked when you overnight, but I didn't understand why he just could. I mean, he's in a shed, so I'm sure there's plenty of tools that could break him out of a wooden shed as well.
Don't try and put logic into this movie.
All right, so like the first night, I'm confused why he stayed there, and this is all I could think about the entire movie. So I'm just sitting there, and the movie's going on, and I'm like, oh, why is he
just not leaving? I know.
It's night.
He's a superhero vampire.
Just leave.
Yeah. Or dig a hole under it. It's a shed.
So, yeah.
Don't they like being in the earth?
Having said that, I mean, a lot of the effects were pretty cool. The gore was well shot. It should have been more of it, but it was all pretty cool too. Looked good. Still not a huge fan of this one. I didn't hate it. I'm gonna give it a meh.
You're generous.
I am, because there was enough
You're a
good.
giver.
I just don't know why he didn't just leave.
Yeah, there was too much.
It was a wooden shed. It wasn't a maximum security prison.
It was not good. I did not like it, Sam.
It was meh.
I did not like it in his box. I did not like it with a fox. I did not like it here or there.
Yeah, it's time to
I
move
did not
on.
like it anywhere.
Going off the rails again, Jim.
Thank you, Dr. Seuss.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Well, this week I want to rage about sequels.
Sequels.
Yeah, sequels or trequels, whatever you want to call it, when they continue to make movies
No such
past
thing
the
as a
time.
trequel.
That would
I
be
don't
a
know,
trilogy.
triquel, a triquel,
That would be a trilogy.
quadrifill. Okay, what's a 4 then? Like what's Nightmare on Elm Street 10 or what is that? 10quel? What's NyQuil? Is that 9?
9 too
So
many.
that's where
Well,
they
that's
need
a
to make
cough
it till it's a 9, and then it's a
Cough
9.
medication.
It's a 9quel,
No.
and then you can fall asleep. There is nothing great about a movie going past 2. Usually, keeping in mind, there can be a book that was made into 3 movies because they couldn't fit it all into 1. But most times by the time you get to 3, and most times by the time you get to 2,
Friday the
it's
13th,
kind of
part 7 was Mondo.
yeah, it was better than 2 and 3, but not
And
better.
4 and 5,
Anyway,
and
the
6.
point I'm trying to.
4 was actually the first one was the best. Then 4.
But even 1 wasn't great. I mean, it is in perspective because it was the first and it kind
I
of
love
introduced you to
Friday
it.
the 13th.
I don't know. I bought the entire series
Yeah, I got the.
and started watching it. I couldn't get past 4. I was like, ugh, I hate everything about sequels. I just can't. I want there to be, and maybe this is just a theme of my existence.
Did you watch Crispin Glover? The one with Crispin Glover?
Yes, I
And
do.
he's doing his dance?
I do love
That is
Crispin-
like the best dance ever
What was that
filmed.
one? Was that?
I can't even remember. I want to
I want to say
it's-
3.
I think it's 4.
Okay, but
There was a
yeah.
lot of good in 4.
But that's because Crispin Glover's in it. Like, but that
Wow,
Crispin
and
Glover
other-
in anything
other
makes
things, too.
everything better. It's just, it's kind of like
I can't argue
he's
with
my
that.
original creep crush, and I'll never stop loving him. But
You never forget your first.
never get your first creep crush. But here's the thing, and I've said this enough times, but I'm completely focusing on my buddies Bill and Ted this time. That movie did not need to exist. Why did they make it?
Well, just write a better script.
Well, even if they stop
had 20
doing it.
they had like 25 years.
So since Bill and Ted existed 20 fucking years ago, we've had how many different movies that our boy Keanu has been in that he could just make another movie with something new in it and still be stupid. It doesn't have to have a thing that didn't need to be made. They just need to stop doing sequels just for nostalgia reasons. There's just no reason for it. There's so many great authors that are not getting their cred or not getting their chance because, oh, we got to bring back another stupid sequel. And part of this came from the fact, and this is going to be we're going to be talking about in the future, is we're going to be talking on our horror event coming up in October. And
Yes, go
I
ahead.
had to watch my least favorite horror movie of all time, which I'm not going to talk about it now, but it was a sequel. And I'm just like, this is the reason why I hate sequels. That movie alone. When you hear us on October 23rd and you find out which my least favorite movie of all time is, it's not. Yes, it's 2, and you know what I'm thinking before I say it. So don't even say it.
No, I'm gonna come back at you with John Wick Part 2, John Wick Part 3. What say you, Jim?
There's an exception to every rule.
Oh!
There's an exception to every rule. But I consider that John Wick is one movie. It's just spread out over 3. It's still all the same night.
That is the
it's
dumbest
one night,
thing you've ever
It's
said.
one night later.
Well, that's actually not the dumbest thing you've
That's
ever said.
right. It's
Well,
not
yeah,
the dumbest
technically-
thing.
But it is a dumb thing.
He's
to
on the
say.
run through all 3 movies.
That's right. He's just going from one moment to the next.
He never actually gets to take a breath, so I
That's
I
right.
can see that.
It's really the same movie.
It's not the same movie.
It is. It's just we couldn't see all of John Wick as a 12-hour bookend. People couldn't handle that much John Wick at one time.
their brains would explode.
Their brains would explode instantly.
oozing out their
It's like,
ears.
I'm seeing too much John Wick. Bow. So that's my rage. Stop making fucking sequels, especially bad sequels, and start doing original content.
I love sequels.
Mike, drop.
Because House Party 2 made House Party 3 look like House Party 4.
There you go.
Well, you said it was like House Party 1 before.
I don't remember.
It's still House Party crap. is what
House
it is.
Party 2 made House Party 3 look like House Party 1, and that's my rage this week.
About sequels too?
No, it's not.
Not enough sequels? You're going to rage about not enough House Party?
Not enough. We need a House Party 6. No, my rage is, with our current situation, why would we release 3 semi-major releases at once in Canada, and now we have to what looks like nothing really coming out next week? Yeah, we're going to go see a couple of things, but one of them actually was released a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week as well. And the other one's just kind of an also-ran. They just shoved it in there. And, So this is a time where we should be looking at the schedule and strategically planning release dates. All the studios should be getting together and not stepping on each other's toes for at least the next little while. Last week in Canada, we got Tenet, Bill and Ted Face the Music, and the New Mutants all at once, and this week we get basically nothing. That does nobody any good. Tenet is being released this week in the US, which makes more sense as it gave the New Mutants a chance to make some money last weekend without having to compete with Tenet. Also, not only is there nothing next week, but it looks as though it's slim pickings until September 18th, where we get The Kingsman and The Nest, starring Jude Law. Why is The Nest opening on the same day as The Kingsman? Could we not release it a week earlier to next? So that there's no competition? And make a few extra bucks for it? Why not? I don't understand. Let's all work together and spread the release dates out more until we get back to a full schedule. Competition is good, but not right now. Now we just got to get back to until we get to back to some semblance of order. That's my rage. I just wish that we could look at this schedule, space it better, and not have gaps of nothingness, because there's no reason for it. Why are we releasing all... That opening weekend's big for a lot of movies, and sometimes the next week rolls around, it's just not as big. Let's do it with no competition right now, just for now, until things get rolling.
You know, in all the years that I've listened to you rage, this is the first time I've ever said I completely agree with everything you just said.
Cool.
Like
just right now, it makes no sense.
It's now making me rage. In fact, it's making me rage more than sequels.
Like last weekend, what was that? All three of them, bang!
I know. I mean, having to see 3 movies in one night was pretty awesome.
That was awesome.
But we could have just as easily spent more time eating.
We could have.
What do you say, Mur? What do you think?
Well,
is this a? Do you want to jump on this bandwagon?
Well, being as you guys are film guys and not TV guys, maybe you don't understand the way the world works. TV and movie executives don't give 2 craps about each other.
This is different times, Murray. I
doesn't
explained
matter.
that in my rage.
Yeah, but they're still doing it on television.
There's no reason to television is completely different. Everybody's stuck in their homes.
Really
it's
not.
Totally
it's the same.
Everybody's stuck in their homes right now, Murray. Television is not hurting.
It's the same money. It's the same studio.
No, it's different. People have to go to the movies.
No, they don't anymore. Everything.
Yeah, but Tenet wasn't released on video on demand. Neither Bill and Ted was the only one of those 3 that 4 that were released.
Totally different.
Yeah,
So sorry, I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Studios don't give a crap about each other. They're trying to put each other out of business.
Oh, okay, I see.
So that's why they were like, with the exception of like the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Like
if everybody goes out of business, that's good for nobody.
Some are blockbusters. They come out against each other to see. They fight to see who's gonna.
Yes.
They force you to see.
This is not that time, though, Murray. This is not. Oh my God! What are you saying right now? You realize what time we're in right now? We're not last year, August.
What I'm saying is, movie studio executives don't care about you, Bryce.
That is true. They don't, Bryce.
No, but this is completely different time.
I understand your rage, but it's not going to change because.
But okay, so here's the big question, Murray. As much as I understand how you're bringing that logic, do you agree with his rage?
to some extent, yeah. I mean, I saw 4 movies last week too.
And you were tired by
And
the fourth
I did
one.
3 12-hour shifts in those 3.5
Yeah, man,
days.
you were exhausted.
I couldn't do 3 in a row with you guys because I had to spread it out a bit more.
Spread out the love.
And I went to a drive-in too, which we didn't even talk about. But
I have a feeling you're going to talk about it on the
No,
Murman
I talked about it
Minute.
last week. That's fine. But yeah, no, I understand your rage. Just it's not going to change anytime soon. They're
No.
always going to release huge movies opposite each other to try to get your money any way they can.
Yeah.
So,
In other words, what you're
Makes-
saying
it
is
makes no
Tenet
sense
is
right
going to try
now,
and
and
steal the
that's the
money
point.
from the
It-
New Mutants if they're
makes
different
no
studios.
sense right now.
I believe the phrase is beating your head against the wall.
Yeah, makes no sense right now.
Well, I agree
Anyway.
with both of you, but I'm still raging.
Pulse. Slowing.
Ben agrees with you.
Anger fading.
He is. Give it to us, Mur.
All right. Well, this is kind of all thrown together. As you might expect, it is related to some of the stuff we've been talking about. Yeah, I saw Tenet just yesterday, actually, because I couldn't see it at the same time as you guys, and I saw it in the afternoon after a long day of doing stuff. Now, I consider myself a fairly smart guy. I got good grades in school, learned a lot growing up, pretty well versed in how the world works for the most part. But everything Christopher Nolan puts out just confuses the bleep out of me. Really does. His latest film, Tenet, was a straight up mind freak. At least the last 45 minutes of it. And it wasn't the first time I came out of a Nolan film shaking my head with a puzzled look on my face. Tenet now occupies the number 3 spot on the most confusing films I've ever seen. Of course, the other 2 are also Nolan films.
What?
I know Bryce is going to super disagree with me on all this, but
Probably.
this is my thing.
I already am.
I know you already are. I don't like complicated movies. I like movies that make sense. Number 2, most confusing movie, Inception. Now,
So good.
by all means, it's still a solid movie, but while watching it, I just realized how truly redonkulous the entire plot is. Every inch of it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character literally exists solely to explain what the hell is going on. And even then, it's like laugh out loud ludicrous. All that dream jumping made my head spin, just like that damn top.
So good.
Without Leo
Delicious.
acting his ass off, this one could have been a nonsensical disaster. But Leo will be Leo, Nolan is Nolan, and it worked. But I still don't get it. And of course, number 1, no big surprise, Memento.
Memento.
Came
Oh,
out
so good.
20 years ago, and I still don't understand it.
Oh,
Have you watched it recently?
Find
though?
me somebody who's able to explain the plot 20 years after it was released without the help of Google. I dare you. With flashbacks acting as secondary narrative, a deliberately evasive plot that refuses to explain events in any great detail, you just can't look away for a moment.
I know. I couldn't.
Like, there's no doubt that
Me neither.
Nolan is an amazing filmmaker. His visuals, unique storytelling are second to none. But why does he have to be so damn brilliant? Tenet was a really good spy thriller for about the first 2/3 of the movie. Then I got lost,
And then it got really good.
and I didn't know what the hell was going on. Just like the other 2 films on this list. Anyway, that's all I got.
Cool.
I love the fact that you're in love with Christopher Nolan.
I love him so much.
Because he's
just
so smart.
I don't like when he confuses me.
I love it confusing. So good. Okay. Let's talk the list. We didn't do it. Did we do it last week? We did.
Yeah, we
didn't
did.
do it the week before. Anybody got anything?
No.
I've got stuff.
All right. Well,
How
I've
much
got
time-
I've got one obvious one if you don't bring it up, of course. But
Is
you're
it
going to-
Mesmerized?
But you're going to bring it up.
Oh, I'm not. Go ahead. Hit me.
Go ahead. What do you mean?
No, give it to us.
Obviously, the one Mesmerized that we have to add to this list because he's not on it, and I was shocked to see. I actually had to go back and look.
Okay.
Mesmerized would be Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, that's a good one. He should be on it.
He should absolutely be on it. His portrayal of Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall. I've never actually seen a guy portray guys in biopics where I bought into it like I buy into him. And James Brown. he was James Brown.
Oh yeah, totally.
So normally I'm not a big fan of biopics, but these are three of maybe the best biopics ever made. So yeah, he is absolutely mesmerizing.
Yeah, I can't doubt that 100%. Even in 21 Bridges, which was not a great movie.
I still haven't seen it.
It's
I
okay.
wanted
It's on
to. I
Prime.
wanted to put him on. I wanted to put him on the Undoubted list, and then I started looking at all the Marvel crap, and I'm like, oh, jeez.
Mur, what do you say? Chadwick Boseman? Mesmerizing?
I don't really think so, but that's just me. A lot of people do like what he did, and yeah, I was really sad that he passed away. I'm one of the few who didn't like Black Panther. Actually,
But didn't you think he did a
almost
good job
raged.
of it, though, right?
But it's not about the movie.
To be
it's
honest,
about the actor.
he wasn't the best part of the movie. Like, he wasn't the character that I was rooting for in the movie.
Were you rooting for the bad guy?
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I haven't seen the other one, so obviously I can't really say much about that. But his on-screen presence, I just never really was like mesmerized by. But maybe that's just
In Black Panther.
no. And I've seen bits of the other stuff, but it's just as an actor, I just know that he was that mesmerizing. But you guys think so? I'm okay with it.
All right. Well, Chadwick Boseman's going on the mesmerized list.
Yes.
And hopefully Murray one day will see maybe 42 or...
42, I would see.
Yeah.
It's a sports movie.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You should see 42.
should see 42.
In fact, you should watch 42 and then tell me he's not mesmerized.
I
Yeah.
believe it's coming back out in the theaters again.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh,
Very
it
good.
should. Yeah.
It's so good.
Okay, so we got a yes for Chadwick, and our hearts and prayers go out to his family as they're going through this time. And what a great guy to be doing all he was doing while he was going through cancer treatments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I've got a bunch of Undoubteds to put forward. You've got
Bunch.
a few, yeah. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actors and 1 director.
You're not doing it all today.
No, I'm
Okay.
giving you a choice. What do you want? Do you want the director?
Well, there's only one director, so let's go with the actor.
Okay, one is a female and 3 are males.
Go with,
No, sorry. Yep. No, 2 females and 2 males. Oh my God.
Okay, I want the female with the first name that has the lowest letter in the alphabet.
The lowest letter in the alphabet. Lowest letter. Sally Hawkins.
Really? Sally Hawkins is the lowest letter? The other one's above Sally Hawkins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because S is pretty late in the alphabet.
Yeah, I know. She's the lowest.
All right.
All right.
Sally Hawkins.
Okay, Sally Hawkins.
Let's hear the movies. because
2013.
I would like to preface this with I am in love with Sally Hawkins.
That's good to hear.
She is
so
fan-frickin-tastic.
So am I. Mer, you a fan of Sally Hawkins at the best times?
Eh.
Mer's making faces.
2013, The Blue Jasmine, which to me was a Mondo.
Mondo.
The Double, which was Mondo.
Mondo.
Godzilla, the first one in 2014, was a Mondo.
Mondo.
2014, I have not seen this.
What was it?
It is A Brilliant Young Mind.
Mondo.
Okay. Maudie was a Mondo.
Mondo.
Shape of Water was a
Mondo.
Godzilla, King of Monsters was a meh. Eternal Beauty was a Mondo.
Mondo.
So I don't even have to see A Brilliant Young Mind because it's between 2
Yeah.
Mondos, and the fact that she could ever make
There's no way.
rage.
There's no way you thought it was a meh. You'll think it's a meh.
perfect.
She's
Mer, have
in.
you seen? Okay, so is there any on
I
there
am
that
so
made you
happy
rage?
you came up
Mer?
with this, by the
No.
way. I don't know why she was not that I didn't think of
Mwah.
this. Nicely played, Jim.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I only saw the one. She was okay.
And it didn't make you rage, right?
No.
Okay.
On.
Sally Hawkins is
Undoubted.
undoubted.
Nice.
I am so happy.
This is actually the giddiest I've been about the Undoubted list. You've just reinvigorated my passion for the
people.
Undoubted. Yeah.
Wait, but I mean, we've reinvigorated us from Chrissy. So,
There you go.
okay, so I've got one Mesmerized that I'm going to add. And it is
Yes.
Jodie Foster.
For Mesmerized.
For a Mesmerized.
I have to agree with you. She has not done a lot recently. I mean, she's more of a director now, but
I'm trying to think. Can I take my eyes off of her when she's
Never.
on screen?
Never can you.
how long ago was
Little
Maverick?
Darlings.
You know what? Yeah. Even in that Artemis Hotel.
Yes,
she was so good in
She's
that.
great.
Yeah,
It's a yes.
Mesmerized, yes. Jodie
That
Foster's
was, we got a
Mesmerized.
great week, people, on the list. A great mother flipping list. All right, well, that's going to be it for the list this week.
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, that was prepped. I'm tired. It's been a long day. All right. Last time on Rage or Dare, the boys had to grab my bag and squeeze out a sweet treat that is Chris Klein. Who? American Pie dude. And LL Cool J. What?
By the way, I can't. Go ahead.
Made in
I'm really angry.
2005 called Rollerball. This was the remake. This week, Bryce will have to suck some sweet goods out of Jim's vegan-friendly bag or take the dare. Let's check in with the boys and see if LL Cool J's mama will knock them out or they'll remember who Chris Klein is.
I would just like to preface this is I was told that the guy from American Pie was in this, and Eugene Levy was definitely not in this movie.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. He's not in this fucking movie.
Jason Biggs
You
wasn't
can't.
either.
You have some block in your mind where you think that you said Eugene Levy and we said
Eugene
no.
Levy was in this.
Go back and listen to
Never.
our podcast. You kept saying, "You mean Eugene Levy's in this?" And we
I
kept
know,
saying, "No,
I was so
he's not
looking
in
forward
it."
to it.
You were
Eugene
wishing
Levy.
he
I love the fact that you saw this thinking Eugene Levy when we said 3 times last week that he's not in it.
At no point is he in it.
No, he's not. Chris
So wh-
Klein's in it.
So why did you tell me he was?
We didn't. Go back and listen to our podcast from last week.
I'm just very.
It was clearly very clear that
disappointed.
Murray said Chris Klein.
Very
Now,
very disappointed.
What did you think of this fabulous little number?
Wow. That's it.
It's Mondo.
Just wow. Ridiculous remake of a ridiculous original concept with ridiculous casting and ridiculous dialogue and a ridiculous plot with a ridiculous ending. There is a 10-minute sequence in which the entire scene is shot as if you're looking through night vision goggles. It is 10 minutes of grainy green and is an unfocused mess. I have no idea why we get this scene, because no one seems to be actually wearing night vision goggles. The end of this movie has a confusing and improbable series of action sequences that defy the laws of physics and human strength. During the final act, we get someone breaking the stock off of a shotgun right through the wood. To which I say, bullcrap. That can't happen. This could never happen. Nobody is that strong.
Laws of physics, baby.
And finally, the rollerball announcer actually says, "What is going on here?" To which I say, exactly. This was a hard rage.
Well, let me talk a little bit about this lovely movie. Best editing ever done. Chris Klein's stunt double going downhill wiped out every single jump, but they edited it almost perfect every time. Why is Chris Klein and LL Cool J not the biggest thing right now? They had such great chemistry, and LL is so cool. Jay. And why is Rollerball not a thing? I want season tickets to the Calgary Ballers, as I like to call them. Well, that's what I would call them if they were my team. But first, I just want to chant, Jonathan, Jonathan,
Yeah.
Jonathan. Chanting is fun.
Chanting is fun.
I like chanting things. Why do the women wear full face masks and the 2 main actors wear no face masks? Oh, right. So we know which one is Chris and LL. I know. I could not believe the suspense that this very complex game causes. All the skating and jumping and throwing. It's hard to follow. So crazy, crazy, crazy. Favorite line, a fox in the box, a fox in the box. They put that fox in the box. FYI, the soundtrack, I think, was also the same as Here Comes the Boom. Solid gold. And now it's time to talk about Jean Reno. He's awesome. Also super cool. And he's in this movie. He's also French. You know, he's in Leon the Professional.
He is.
That is an amazing movie.
It is so good.
Now back to what I was gleaming about. Oh yeah, change of pace. I can't talk in this sarcastic voice any longer. I need to release the full force of my rage unless we can talk about Jean Reno for a little bit longer.
No. Rage on.
This movie was... I can't even say it. One note. and I'm being generous here, quite simply the most annoying sports film ever created. Granted, all sports movies are gross, but the sports cliches, script, acting, editing, filming, direction, FX, stunts, premise, lighting, concept, LL Cool J, Chris Klein, and every single thing that was in it, part of it, or about this movie was a sadistic, rage-filled, murder-ball, streaming pile of awful shitball, rage-filled, rollerball, sequel, sadistic, rage-filled, 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 rage, 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 pile of sadistic rage times 10 to the power of 10 times pi. Oh, wait, one more thing that must always is the awful sound effects. And I'd like to just, if you can just put up this sound effect. This came at Bryce's 10-minute sequence. They came up with this sound.
What was that?
I don't know, but then they did it again. That was the sound of the spaceship that was chasing them.
Boing.
But John Reno is cool, but not in this movie.
No.
One word left in my broken soul: rage, sadism. One good thing positive about this movie was Rob Zombie and Slipknot songs were in it.
Yeah,
Though they were both so bad. Yeah. In fact, Slipknot even performed live. So props to the Outside the Nine, my brethren.
There you go.
This was a sadistic rage.
It was bad.
You're welcome.
That was terrible. All right, Bryce, you want to pick from my juicy, succulent, vegan-friendly bag? Or do you want to take a dare?
I'm always scared of what you're going to come up with in that
Even
brain of
more
yours, so I think I'm just going to go with the bag.
Get your hands dirty.
Okay, I'm not going to pluck the obvious one that's on top. It looks like a plant.
It was a plant.
So I'm going to...
It was Xanadu 2.
I'm going to get something from the bottom
wish.
here. There we go.
All right, Bryce will be seeing...
Good one.
Dick Tracy.
Classic Madonna movie.
Oh, snap. Possibly the worst movie ever made.
Oh, I
Guess we'll hear about it next week.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
That's Warren Beatty, right?
Yeah, it should be great.
And Madonna.
Yeah, Warren Beatty makes good
And
movies.
Madonna.
He was in Bonnie and Clyde.
Madonna's made some great movies.
Even Bulworth. I love
I
Bulworth.
believe Pacino's in it too.
Yeah. And Madonna's in it.
And that annoying.
She's
kid
never
from,
made a bad movie.
That annoying kid from Hook.
She's made bad movies.
No, I don't think
It
so.
should be visually stunning. I remember it being kind of pretty to look at.
Well, I guess we'll find out how pretty it is next week.
It's a cartoon.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good.
Yeah,
Right
well,
then.
you enjoy it.
You do
I
that.
might.
Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage crew of Leonard Conlon for artistic vision and photography via Leonard Conlon Photography. Listen to us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and check out our website at filmrageyyc.com. We are always wanting your feedback to make this a raging blast for our listeners. So please comment often, and please make us rage. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.